You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans. So, Brooke Logan is starting to put two and two together and is on high alert about Taylor Hayes' return to LA. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. And let's talk about what has Brooke taking a closer look and what she might figure out about her rival. But if you haven't, please click subscribe. So Taylor Hayes is dying, as you know, and doesn't want to tell anybody, but she is waving all these red flags, saying cryptic things, and just her overall demeanor is off. And Brooke has taken note of this, and she is starting to get worried, and she's asking questions, and it's only going to grow from there. You guys know how Bill Spencer likes to say his Spency senses are tingling. Well, that's kind of the vibe Brooke has right now. Her Spidey senses are definitely tingling, but it's not jealousy that has her wondering what's going on with Taylor. It's concern. So just real quick, I want to address the comment/rumors/clickbait about this illness. I've seen people suggesting, that Taylor is faking it to get closer to Ridge Forrester or some other reason. I'll say this now, 100%. She's not faking. I don't believe it for a moment. Taylor has been way too upset in private moments when no one is around, for me to accept that theory. However, I will say this. We know that they twisted the Luna story around and changed and decided to make her the killer. I don't know if they intended for Sheila to be the killer initially or whatever, but Luna was definitely shocked the night she was drugged, and then they're trying to retroactively explain it. So, down the road, Brad Bell may change his mind, but as of now, I am quite certain that Taylor does truly believe she is dying. However, she's being really dense about not telling her family. She thinks she wants to spare them pain, but come on. And Brooke has noticed that Taylor seems off, and she brought it up to Ridge, who is, as always, oblivious, unless it's something about, somebody getting in his bed or something. When Eric was dying, Ridge didn't notice anything was up for a good long time. And of course, Taylor's return, anytime she comes back, always boosts Ridge's ego, so he's just probably focused on all these feel-good endorphins he's getting, knowing that Brooke and Taylor are both in his orbit again, and he's getting attention from the two of them. However, Brooke is a smart cookie. So, of course, we'd expect her to question why Taylor's back and whether she came back to try and steal Ridge from her. That's what we would expect, but I don't even think that's on Brooke's radar. Even when she saw Ridge giving Taylor that side hug in the CEO office recently, and she kind of eavesdropped on them for a minute, Brooke didn't come off like she was threatened at all. In fact, she actually apologized for interrupting them, and, everything in that sense seems fine. But what Brooke has noticed is Taylor doesn't seem to be happy that she's home. Not like she should be, not like she usually is. And yeah, Steffi's mom is saying all the right things. Taylor says she's missed Steffi and the grandkids. She's missed out on milestones, missed being with those she loves, missed Ridge. But to me, it definitely seems like Taylor is on a farewell tour. And just some of the things she's saying about, with the time you have left and you'll be, my soulmate or whatever word she used, love of her life. That's what it was. Always will be that, because she doesn't think she has any other life to give. So all these cryptic things and just her overall demeanor, as I said, Brooke can tell things are not quite right. And Brooke also told Ridge that she does really think she and Taylor can be friends, like legit friends for real this time, not the pact. And that comment that she made to Ridge, along with Brooke noticing that Taylor seems not quite right, does have me worried. I am starting to feel more and more like showrunner Brad Bell is indeed redoing one of his past death storylines, the one of OG Stephanie Forrester, when she died of cancer in Brooke's arms. I don't like to even think that that's where these writers are going, but after the most recent episode, I strongly suspect it. Taylor is also saying out of character things like how she's happy that Brooke and Ridge are together and happy. And she talks about the future that those two can look forward to while seeming sad because, of course, she believes she has no future. But again, this is Taylor making assumptions because she hasn't seen a freaking cardiologist. And I think fans are going to beat Brad Bell to death with comments and tagging him and the show and the network on Twitter if they don't clear this up and don't have Taylor in to see a heart expert very soon. This just reminds me of that vague garbage they did with Eric saying he was dying, but never saying of what, and then never seeing him going to a doctor, just garbage like that. It was like a couple of months into the Eric is dying thing, if I remember, before we saw him talking to a doctor. And that doctor was at the house. He wasn't even going into the office, or the hospital. So in that aspect, it's already frustrating because as a doctor, Taylor should know she needs to see an expert. So back to Brooke and her wanting to make friends with Taylor. I do see that because of this, Brooke is going to be around her more often and can observe Taylor with Steffi and Ridge and others. And I think Brooke is going to keep seeing that undertone of sadness in all these interactions. And that really isn't like Taylor. So I wonder how long until Brooke Logan decides just to ask outright, just goes to Taylor and says, what is going on with you? She may tell her, you're not your usual cheerful self. You seem sad. Something is definitely off. Did you come back to LA because of whatever is bothering you? It would be absolutely wild if Taylor opened up to Brooke and told her that she was sick before telling Ridge or one of her kids, But Brooke can be like a dog with a bone. She can be relentless, so she might pester Taylor into coming clean. But if she does tell Brooke, I would also assume that she would then swear her to secrecy. So, B&B may go all out and have Brooke be Taylor's rock through this heart failure diagnosis and struggle, taking her to doctor's appointments while the rest of the family remains in the dark. What's ironic is I was looking at the symptoms of heart failure. I have a couple people in my family that have it, but they've had like a wide array of symptoms. So I was just looking in general. And what's funny is that the symptoms that Eric was showing when he was first diagnosed as dying and incurable are the symptoms we should see in Taylor soon, like shortness of breath, wheezing, cough that brings up bloody mucus. Remember Eric and his bloody hankies, fatigue, weakness, stuff like that. So surely somebody should notice if Taylor starts having spells like these. Steffi senses something is going on with her mom, but Taylor won't come clean to her. Lee Finnegan has pressed her to tell her family, but Taylor keeps pushing back. So I could even see a whole dynamic with Brooke and Lee, both keeping Taylor's secret and trying to help her as best they can while the rest of the family stays in the dark for a while. I do think Finn is going to find out pretty soon since he may see Taylor at the hospital for a cardio appointment, but he cannot tell Steffi, hey, I saw your mom at the cardiologist today. I'm sure that would get him into trouble. Even though she's not his patient, doctors aren't allowed to reveal information that they find out in the course of their job. That's still patient privacy. So we'll see on that. But Brooke Logan tried to bring up the subject of Taylor seeming off to Ridge today, but his answer was, I didn't notice anything. So I expect Brooke is going to start really keeping a close eye on Taylor, checking in on her, pursuing this friendship thing. And so it could be Brooke who is the first to figure out Taylor's back to LA to die among her family and loved ones. And then Brooke may do all she can to help her. We'll see. What do you guys think? Drop your comments. Please subscribe. Definitely come back soon. It's me, Belinda from Soap Dirt, talking bold and the beautiful with you 7 days a week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.